Hello, I'm delighted to share with you Environmental Science Sustaining Your World. This course was created specifically for your high school environmental science program, with a central theme of sustainability included throughout. The authors Miller and Spoolman have focused content and included student activities on the core environmental issues of today while incorporating current research on solutions-based outcomes. National Geographic images and graphics support the text, while National Geographic explorers and scientists who are working in the field to solve environmental issues of all kinds tell their stories of how real science and engineering practices are used to solve real-world environmental problems. So let's take a look at student resources. Of course, there'll be your student book, and that's available both in print and the digital is our beautiful MindTap learning platform. For the teachers, there's going to be the Wraparound Teachers Edition, an instructor companion site which houses a collection of book-specific lecture and class tools, nearly 50 pages of supplemental material, and also chapter pre-test and post-test, as well as ready-to-use PowerPoint presentations, including a PDF of the full Teacher's Edition. And also, you have Cognero, the online test bank, where teachers can go in and build tests specifically from a test bank for this textbook. You also can create multiple test versions in an instant and deliver those tests online in Cognero or through your LMS or even print them out. You're going to be able to promote scientific understanding of environmental issues using National Geographic content. You're going to help students develop critical thinking skills to help them evaluate environmental issues. You're also going to address science standards through real-world science and engineering activities. You also have support for differentiation and alignment to the next generation science standards. Our National Geographic explorers are some of the best in their respective field, and there's no better group of scientists and engineers to teach students about our environment than these experts. Sustaining Your World features over 30 National Geographic explorers that provide an inspiring view into STEM fields. You'll find special National Geographic features at the beginning, middle, and end of this program. Each chapter begins with an Explorers at Work feature that describes the scientific or social endeavors and achievements of a National Geographic explorer, but these features showcase individuals from all walks of life, recounting not only their professional work, but what gets them out of bed in the morning, the setbacks they've endured and overcome, and what they hope to achieve in the future. Every chapter also begins with a BBC or a Nat Geo video. There are also embedded videos throughout in the content. So let's look at the introductory video for Chapter 3.
Under the hot tropical sun is a protected island in the Panama Canal. Up in the treetops or canopy of the tropical forest on Barro, Colorado Island live many interesting creatures. The canopy is the powerhouse of the forest, able to support a remarkable community of life.
There are also animations that are embedded in the content that will help your students understand abstract concepts. Here we find our animation.
Gaseous nitrogen makes up about 80% of the atmosphere, but plants can't use this form of nitrogen.
This is just a quick example of some of the many embedded animations as well as videos that you will find in the textbook. Now let's take a look at how this text will help your students develop critical thinking skills so that they can better evaluate environmental issues. Not only does every chapter open with a beautiful, compelling image like the one you see here, students are also presented with key questions that will help focus their learning. Students use these questions to preview a chapter and to review the material after they've read it. Miller and Spoolman also take a balanced approach to sustainability, using the 6 principles of sustainability as their central theme. And the content begins with a feature article on the delicate balance of the Okavango Delta, followed by an introduction of the 6 principles of sustainability. Each chapter revisits these principles using sections called Science Focus and Engineering Focus. Science and engineering practices come into focus as students learn about how environmental engineers are solving problems. Your students will be prompted for discussion and to think critically to connect the issues that are presented. And you'll also find additional hands-on activities in your Teacher's Edition to provide further exploration in the science and engineering fields. Case studies are going to provide the application of the topics being studied. You'll also find as you read notes which challenge your students to connect the chapter concepts to their own knowledge or life experiences. But let's take a look at how the program helps address science standards with real-world science and engineering activities. At the end of each chapter, the chapter activities section is made up of two parts. One is a develop models, experiment, or investigate activity, and these offer you another chance to hone STEM skills and deepen understanding of the chapter content. Part B is citizen science or a take action activity. Citizen science activities encourage students to get involved in an ongoing project or National Geographic initiative. The take action activities are more specific about using scientific knowledge to inform environmental action. Each unit ends with a guided STEM engineering project where students get to take the wheel as the problem solver and work on real environmental issues. These projects can take several weeks or even a whole semester. They'll involve problem-based learning, and they also teach the engineering design cycle. Learning objectives are found in the core ideas and skills box at the beginning of every lesson. Key terms boxes give you an at-a-glance list of all the important words that are going to be encountered while students work through the content. They can even look them up in the Spanish or English dictionary. Consider this boxes, call out some of the often surprising connections between environmental problems or processes and the products we use or the activities we partake in. These are intended to get students thinking carefully about choices that they make and things that they take for granted. Following the last lesson is a tying it all together, which guides the analysis of data and information related to the real-world challenges. These were discussed in the case study throughout the chapter. And then finally, a chapter summary. These review, as you would expect, a chapter assessment. As I mentioned earlier, there is a full wraparound teacher's edition that gives you all the tools that you will need for instruction. It comes with a planning guide before every chapter, specifying unit level projects and special features. You'll clearly be able to see the chapter contents, differentiated support, as well as other activities for hands-on instructional support. And finally, the digital resources that are available. The 5E instructional model clearly lays out your lesson organization. You will also find a vast collection of differentiated instructional strategies. Simple icons allow you to see at a glance whether a teaching note is discussion or hands-on. For example, the gear indicates a hands-on activity. It might call for special equipment or a specific internet resource or consumables. One of the hallmark features of Miller and Spoolman programs is their positive vision of our environment future based on realistic optimism. They present both sides of the environmental issue and show that there are trade-offs among opposing parties and that the best solutions are win-win solutions. During the evaluation portion of the lesson, there's even a remediation highlight that may be helpful. So let's look also at some interdiscipline support. We give you notes for across the curriculum, making connections to other areas, and working in the arts and science, and many others. So now let me take you into the MindTap digital platform and show you a few more of our special features. So now let's take a look at the MindTap platform. First on the left, you'll see our table of contents, and each folder that you will find has a wealth of information from pre-assessments to readings to lots of lessons and activities, summaries, built-in summative and formative assessments, as well as media libraries and post-learning activities. There are also engineering projects that you can find, special sections, and of course, the appendices at the end. As we move back to the top, there are some editing features that allow teachers the ability to customize this platform. You can hide content, units, you can do individual chapters, or you can even open up the content and just simply hide individual assignments. You also can go in and make assignments here, and while you're in this tab, you also can change parameters on gradability of assignments, and you can relocate material. Maybe you want to rearrange chapter 1 and put it after chapter 2. Lots of autonomy here. You can also, with the Add and Create button, you can add your own activities here. Anything you can find on Google Drive, OneDrive, web links, videos, you can insert it and make it your own, even content from other sources. On the right-hand side, you'll see your recent activities. You have lots of supportive Mind apps for both students and teachers. There is a progress app that will give you classroom analytics, a flashcard deck for every chapter in the textbook, as well as a read speaker to change male or female voices. There is a study hub that can be accessed. Students can save bookmarks. They can make notes and highlights that are then can be retrieved. The orange happens to be notes and post-its that have come from the instructor. And students can also make their own study guides, complete with all the annotations, all the vocabulary, as well as instructor notes. When we drill into a reading, students have the ability to make highlights and correlating post-it notes if they would like. They have point of use vocabulary definitions available to them. They can have text read aloud by sections by going here. They can add flashcards to their own deck if they would like to. Teachers can highlight and mark in orange, and those items are pushed into the student textbook. Students can take advantage of the checkpoint assessment features and think about the questions before they reveal the answer. This video was one that was inserted by the teacher. Using the Magic Edit pencil, they chose an insertion point, which gave them the opportunity to again add content from a variety of other types of sources, so that now students can utilize this information in line without having to go elsewhere. Students can also have the entire content read. There is audio and video support.
Environmental science is a study of connections in nature.
Students can change font size, and they have the ability to bookmark. And remember, all of these will show up in their study hub when they choose to create their study guides. And lastly, I'd like to give you a glimpse at the beautiful Progress app. Here, not only can you see the assignments as they've been submitted and what's coming up, but when you go into the Analytics tab, you actually can get information on your class about what's going on, how much time your students have been in the course, how many activities they have accessed, and what their engagement levels are. Also, by drilling into the gradebook, even if you use an LMS and have automatic grade return, these results will still be here for you. You can drill into individual students and get their analytical information about how many readings and media pieces they've viewed, and drilling into their assignment, you can make adjustments as necessary, as well as view scores and view their work. You can also see any feedback that they received as they were working, which, by the way, students do have the opportunity to check their work when they are working throughout the content. Thank you so much for your time today. We are looking forward to strengthening our partnership with you as you adopt our Environmental Science Sustaining Your World program. We are sure that this course will satisfy your rigorous requirements for an environmental science course that will keep your students engaged and successful. Please reach out to your sales consultant with any questions. And thank you.